We will talk about spreading privacy awareness, making the principals realize that they have rights, and having a loud noise about your own grievance redressal system as well, so that you can address concerns of your principals. Today we are going to talk about how a fiduciary should talk to its customers and vendors to ensure that they are also well aware of their rights and how their data is being handled. Welcome to my YouTube channel where you daily see new content on data privacy, and as I said, we are going to talk about how to engage customers and vendors in handling personal data. So what is a data fiduciary? A data fiduciary is the organization which processes personal data, and as per the Indian DPDP Act, any organization that collects, stores, uses, that is processes, shares with third parties and deletes personal data is a data fiduciary. And if that personal data that you are dealing with is sensitive personal data, then you become, or you are classified as a significant data fiduciary. You are processing large volumes of data, or you are processing sensitive personal data like healthcare records, etc. So you become a significant data fiduciary. Now in this context, is it important? Is privacy important for them? Well, if a personal data is breached out of an organization, whether it's of an internal employee or whether it's of a customer, prospect, anything, there would be a loss of damage, a loss of reputation, which would lead into issues with your customer trust. You'll definitely lose business unless you are in a monopolized business and you get the customers back, but even then it would be an unhappy customer. There will be an unrest. It would have financial impact to settle down with the customer, to settle down with the judicial systems. Judicial, not exactly directly judicial only, but then you have the Data Protection Board of India or the data protection authorities worldwide, depending on which geography are you working on, and then accordingly you need to respond back to them, you need to talk to your principals, mitigate, and maybe you will put into financial impact or breaches. 250 crores in India, 4% of global turnover and as per GDPR, right? So you need to be prepared for all that, and that can bring a lot of loss to your organization. So privacy awareness is very, very critical within the system. The key responsibility of a fiduciary is to make sure that his processing systems are very, very transparent. He has taken a proper consent and is maintaining a record of the consent. It should not be that you have taken a consent and then when the time comes, you don't know where the consent record is. So obtaining a consent and recording a consent, both are important things. There are three things that work together. This is data minimization, purpose limitation, and then consent. So collect as minimum as required. Okay. Inform about the clear purpose and take a proper consent and record all the three things. That's the most important thing a fiduciary needs to do so that they can handle the personal data well. Once you have done that, then the data is with you and you have to provide security to the data. The confidentiality, integrity, availability triad. Right? Data would stay confidential, no unauthorized access, it would not get damaged, integrity would be maintained, and data would be available so that if the primary goes off, the data is easily available from the secondary source of data. So these are important basic things when it comes to collecting and processing data. However, if there is a breach, then there is a process of breach management. How fast you inform the principals, how fast you inform the board or the regulators, and how fast you take a mitigation method that the impact of the breach is minimized. Right? Impact of the breach is minimized. And then, if still people are not happy with what you are doing, then you need to have a robust grievance redressal mechanism so that the unhappy people can come and log their complaints and get them answered or addressed by you. And then you can try and change their experience and improvise your own systems as a fiduciary to ensure that you don't get into such problems again. So how do you engage your customers on this? You should simplify your data collection methods. Your data collection forms should automatically have a clear consent of it. Maybe a lot granular consent. I've been using that example very regularly. Open the account, get a checkbook, get a debit card. Do you want them to be delivered at home? Yes, no? Right? So, and a purpose over there where you say that I want this consent because I would use a third party to deliver it to your place. The moment they say I would use a third party, it is automatically clear that they are seeking your permission as a fiduciary to allow them to share your personal data with the third party. And then if a robust system, a proper system, personal data that the third party courier agency needs is only your name, address and phone number. They don't need to know your PAN card or Aadhaar number, right? So the bank needs to be careful accordingly. The idea is that your consent, your data collection should be simplified. It should have consent. The consent and the purpose should be very, very clear on the data collection form at that stage itself. Your privacy notices should be published, circulated, updated regularly, available on your websites. Whatever changes you do, minor ones, you can send them as a message or an email to your users and send periodic updates on your privacy practices. Maybe you have done a DPIA, a successful one. You publish it that we did a DPIA this quarter and we have been successful. Your customers' confidence would boost. And they would know that their data is in safe hands, and they would also know that if they don't understand something over there, then there's a grievance system. So you're not only publishing your policies, not only publishing accolades about yourself, about your successful DPIAs, about your successful regulators' inspections, but also about the grievance redressal system that this is it. And anytime you think you are changing your process, you need to intimate or take a consent again. And if you do these practices, A, you don't lose the confidence of your customer. B, it shows that you are making your own processes more robust. Right? So you are not only making them aware and winning their confidence, you are also making your own processes more robust, and therefore their engagement with you and their confidence on you would increase, as well as the chances of breach would be minimized because you are improvising on your processes. Educate your customers on their user rights, data principal rights as well. Then we move on to vendors. How and what do you work with your vendors? Now vendors could be, one is that you are a KPO, BPO where you get responsible for collecting a database and you send it to someone else to process. The other way of looking at vendor is you are delivering things, logistics are done by an outsider. You are collecting information and doing marketing. The marketing, logistics, maybe the mass emailing is done by an external agency. So they are also your vendors, right? So you need to have good contracts with them, include privacy clauses in your contracts, define very, very clear roles and responsibilities of your team as well as your vendors. You need to be very careful with them. What is their role? What would happen if there is a breach? How would they avoid a breach? Are they compliant? Monitor their data processing practices. How are they handling it? Do they have a non-disclosure agreement with their staff who is taking care of your personal data collected on your behalf? Conduct trainings of their teams. You should do that internally also. We spoke about in the presentation yesterday, the video yesterday. Audit their practices and keep checking regularly. Ask them to do a DPIA, or you do a DPIA for them as it's your data. Who bears the cost is something that could be a part of the contract, but time to time DPIAs and regulator checks should be done either by them and certified to you, or maybe you can do it yourself, and you ensure that there is a proper breach response protocol as well as regular trainings and awareness to their staff members to ensure that they are keeping track of any malpractice, compromised practice of handling personal data. So that's about spreading privacy awareness with your customers and vendors. I hope you like the content of the video. Please press the bell and the like icon. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and share your feedback in the comment section. Thank you.